Hello guys, and welcome to my first video in the Java Basics series. The first video that we're going to be doing today is variables. And basically what a variable is in Java is just like what a variable is in any math class that you've been in. You assign a letter or a set of letters um, to a value. And if we have the letter X, for example, and we assign it the value 50, then every time we use X, X would equal 50 because we assigned it a value. And there are different types of variables. There are ints, there are doubles, there are strings, there are characters, and there's a little bit more. But today we're going to be talking about the variables that are used most commonly, which are integers, doubles, and strings. And basically to start, an integer is defined as a whole number that can be negative. We all know what integers are, like 1 or 2, 3, 4, and so on. And they can also be negative numbers. And when we make an integer variable, the first thing that we want to type is int, of course, and then we want to give that variable a name. So since it's an integer and it's a number, I'll just name it num. And now we have an integer named num, but we need to assign it a value. So let's give our number the value of 40. Okay, so we have stated which type of variable it is. It's an integer. We have given it a name, which is num, and we have assigned it a value, which is 40. So if we want to print out the value of num, all we would type is num. We wouldn't type 40 because 40 is assigned to num, so all we have to do is type out num. And if we run this, then it should in the console say 40, which it does. So if we come back here, that is basically just the basics of integers. Now you can do a lot of things with integers. You can multiply them, you can divide, you can take remainders, you can add, you can do a lot of stuff with integers in Java, like the same way you can do it in regular math. But right now, we're not going to do any math. We're just going to look at what happens when you assign it a value. So now that we have integers out of the way, we're going to move on to doubles. And doubles are a lot like integers, only doubles are decimals. So if you have a number that has a decimal place, then it cannot be an integer. It would have to be stored as a double. Now, doubles can store whole numbers. So if I have double num equals 1, that works. There's nothing wrong with that. But the difference between doubles and integers is doubles can also be decimals. So it can be 1.34 or 3.14. But if we tried to make this an integer, 3.14, then it would be an error because integers cannot hold decimal places. So that is the advantage to using a double over an integer in certain circumstances. And just like integers, we assign the value to the variable, which in this case is num, which equals 3.14. So if we want to print out the value of num, which should be 3.14, then we would just put it in a print line, and it should say 3.14. There we go. So now that we have integers and doubles out of the way, which are pretty simple, we can move on to strings. And basically what a string is it's a word. Take the word tree, for example. Tree is a string. your name, whatever your name is, it's a string because it consists of letters. And to make a string variable, we do it the exact same way as we did integers and doubles. We just type out the primitive type, and what a primitive type means is the name of the variable, like string or int or double or char, which stands for character. That's what a primitive type is. So string, and then the name of your variable, which in this case, I guess I could just name it name, if I can type. And I'll just type my name. I'll assign my name to the value of this variable. And when you make a variable, when you make a string variable, you can't just type your name, because strings, when you declare them, and when I say declare, I mean with the equal sign here, when you assign that variable a value, you have to have quotations around whatever you're making, and that is only for strings. That has nothing to do with doubles or integers. That's just strings. So we have assigned the word Christian to name, which is a string. So now if we want to print out my name, we would just say name. And if we run this in the console, it should say Christian. And it does. So that's pretty much the basics of variables. We can get into characters and floats and booleans and other stuff like that, but really the strings and the integers and the doubles are the ones that you will most commonly see, most likely. So we're just going to go over those today, and I hope you guys learn something from this. I hope you guys understand the basics of variables now, and I will see you guys in the next video.